To analyze Windsurf for Java with Spring Boot, we are going to use a Spring Initializer project with Spring Web capabilities. Let's download and extract it for the use in Windsurf. Let's analyze the Scratch development capabilities of Windsurf. For that, we need to load this application which we have downloaded. Now open that folder which has the project. I've already loaded the Windsurf editor with my profile and added the tokens. Windsurf is loaded with the new project and we are good to go. For this demo, we are going to create a CRUD for the user endpoint in the JSON placeholder site available publicly. Let's ask Windsurf to create a CRUD application in the prompt area, and within minutes, it will be creating the application for us. Just a friendly reminder to read each and every file which is created by Windsurf so that we don't get into vibe coding. After the creation, the Spring Boot run command will be run by the Windsurf. We can see that the application is up. Now to test the capabilities, let us list all the endpoints. We see the CRUD API is listed. Now let us test the fetch API first. Windsurf will ask the permission to run the curl command. On running, we can see that it goes to the JSON placeholder and takes all the data and comes back, and it also gives the numbered format for the endpoint. Now let us analyze the debugging capabilities. For that, let us try to search for a user who is not available, like a user ID 11. On executing the curl, the application gets an internal server error, which is analyzed by the Windsurf itself to see what's wrong. Windsurf goes to the source endpoint JSON placeholder and checks for the 11th user and sees that it is not there, and it gives us the prompt that this is a user who is not available and please try to search for users who are there from 1 to 10. So we can find that when the use cases are simple, Windsurf is able to debug properly and give the recommendations to the user. So now let us see if we can add an error handling capability for the scene discussed just now. So we can prompt the Windsurf to give proper errors in such scenarios when the user is not available. And the Windsurf itself is creating two new files. One is the general exception handler and one is the user not found exception, and adding the same to the controller. We can see that after adding the error handling capability, Windsurf goes to test all the negative scenarios and ensures that the error handling is happening properly. And it even summarizes everything for the developer's better understanding. Let us analyze the refactoring capabilities of Windsurf. As of now, all the business logic is now available in the user controller class. Using a Windsurf prompt, let us create a new class called user service and move all the business logic to user service. We can see that the user controller is refactored. A new user service class is created by Windsurf. After the application is restarted, Windsurf tests for all the existing endpoints to see that nothing breaks. After the refactoring, a summary sheet is prepared and given to the user. So as we can see, it is very handy for a refactoring, provided that we give proper prompts to the Windsurf. For complex applications, the developer should be very careful with the refactoring. Each file and the changes done by Windsurf needs to be analyzed by the developer properly before accepting any changes. Let us see how Windsurf can help us with test case preparation. I'm prompting Windsurf to create a skeleton test case for the user service which we just created. Windsurf verifies that all the necessary dependencies are available and goes ahead to create a skeleton test case for the user service. Since the user service is pretty simple, it was able to create all the test case scenarios for the positive and negative scenarios of the user CRUD operations. Windsurf will prompt us to run the test cases and it will verify that all the test cases are running properly. Let us work on a common scenario of adding an enhancement to an existing application. So here I'm adding a validation to the user service to validate the email before creating any user. It should give bad request if there is an invalid email or empty email, else send the response properly. So now Windsurf adds a bad request exception and adds it to the user service, also adds it to the exception handler. The added advantage is that Windsurf also prepares a test case for adding the additional test case related to the newly added validation. It also ensures that the test cases are running properly and no existing test cases are breaking. Again, for scenarios involving a lot of complex logic and domain knowledge, the Windsurf requires proper prompts to be added and closely monitored for the test cases so that we get maximum output. To summarize, consider Windsurf as a coding assistant. Vibe coding is not recommended as it becomes very painful in the future. Consider it as a friend which can reduce 20% of your effort.